Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that takes a British family and catapults them 10,000 miles across the world in search of a better life. Today, we're following the Ashton family. Robert is a cable installer who's hoping for a better lifestyle for his family.
We seem to have started every year, and nothing seems to have got better in the UK.
But his wife, Jane, needs convincing.
This is not something that I would normally consider doing.
And their daughter, Billy, is also unsure.
If we do emigrate, I'm going to be leaving behind all my friends and my family.
And she's worried about whether her parents are united.
I'd really like them to get married again, because I want to know my mum and dad are really together.
But will it all be plain sailing? It's make or break for the Ashtons. Will they decide to stay in the UK or go where they're wanted down under? If you're under 45 and have a skill that's in demand, you could be fast-tracked to a new life down under. Nearly a quarter of Australia's population comes from overseas. Last year, over 100 Brits a day moved to Australia, taking advantage of new immigration rules. But how carefully had they thought about the big decision? We've put 20 British families to the ultimate test. They'll have just 1 week to try out life in Australia. They'll have to find out everything they can about home, work and lifestyle before putting their future to the vote. Do they stay in the UK or move to Australia? Robert, Jane and Billy Ashton are thinking of giving up their life in Sheffield for their dream lifestyle in Oz, and we're giving them the chance to put it to the test.
Something we thought of doing many years ago, and there'd always been some reason for us not to go. So when we decided to sell, it was like, well, why don't we just do what we've always wanted to do?
Robert works as a cable installer, earning up to £30,000 a year. He knows he'd take a pay cut in Australia, but believes he'd find a cheaper, better standard of living.
I just want more space, want more freedom and more time to spend with the family and do what we enjoy doing.
Life hasn't been easy for the Ashtons.
I actually lost my father, and you could say I ran away, in a sense. I left to find myself again, and myself and Jane got divorced.
Now they're back together. Jane is keen to leave a difficult past behind.
To start things all over again, and any mistakes we've made in the past, we can kind of erase them and start again doing them from scratch, and let's see how it goes. Let's see if we can do a better job the second time around.
They need to think carefully about the future for the sake of their 10-year-old daughter, Billy.
My mum and dad told me that we were going to Australia, and it was a really, really big shock.
As a little girl, she's got mixed feelings. Going to miss her friends and her family back in England, but she's adaptable.
All Australia means to Billy is dolphins.
The one thing that she said straight away was, will I be able to go and swim with dolphins? I don't think she realised she can't do it every single day.
But she's already got reservations.
If we didn't like it there, we're going to have to come back again, and it's going to be awful because we've just gone there for nothing, really.
If Billy isn't happy, it could bring an end to their dreams of a life down under. They've got 1 week in Australia to decide their future. To help them make up their minds, we've set up a choice of 3 Adelaide lifestyles: in the hills, by the coast and in the city. By the end of 1 week, they'll have to make the biggest decision of their lives. To help them weigh up the risks, I've invited the Ashton family to Australia House in London to let them choose between the 3 lifestyle options.
Now, you know you're going to South Australia, but you don't know where exactly.
No.
And we've put together 3 different areas, 3 very different lifestyles for you to choose from. This is the Adelaide Hills, so you're getting a bit of rural, but you'll also be getting fabulous sea and city views as well. So are you going to press the button for us, Billy?
South Australia is the driest state on the driest continent on Earth, but you wouldn't know it from the abundant greenery of the Adelaide Hills. The crisp air and lush woodland make it a great place to live and work. A cable installer earns upwards of £16,000 a year, and Kevin Brenner needs you.
And we'd love you to come and work for us in South Australia. We install, obviously, security systems. I noticed in your resume you do data cabling. Well, we do data cabling as well.
You'll find some fantastic properties in the Adelaide Hills. There's a real mix of traditional homes and high-end modern architectural design, and virtually every house comes with a stunning view across the city to the sea.
And we'd really like you to come over here, come and work for us in South Australia. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
How good was that?
What do you think, guys?
Shocked that somebody at the other side of the world just offered me a job. I can't believe it.
Who's never met you? It's really weird. Hi, Robert.
Yeah, I was talking to me.
What did you think about all the rest of it?
Beautiful views, just to wake up every day and be able to...
Breathtaking.
Absolutely, to be able to look at that every morning would be amazing.
Billy, what are you thinking?
I really like the look of Australia and I can't wait to go.
Oh, wow, well, that's a good start.
Very good.
Would you like to still have a look at option 2? Mm-hmm. OK, well, if you press the button again, option 2 will take you to the coast.
Option 2 is the beach lifestyle. Adelaide is bordered by the hills on one side and the deep blue sea on the other. Clark Security is 5 minutes from the beach, and Nathan Turco wants to meet you.
We're actually Adelaide's biggest independently owned and operated security company. As you can see, it's pretty high tech. We do have a lot of clients running through this control room. Now, your role will actually be to go out and do installation work and maybe a little bit of service work. Hopefully, you'll want to come down, have a look and see what we're all about.
Properties on the beach are much desired by Adelaideans, so competition is fierce. Your typical 3-bedroom property sells at upwards of £250,000, and it's unlikely to have a pool. But with vistas like this, it's got to be worth it.
There's nothing better than walking around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, down the beach on a lovely night. The weather's fantastic, and I'm sure you'll love what we've got to offer for you.
What did you think of the job offer there?
The job offer, yeah, seemed decent, seemed nice enough people. I was a bit more concerned about the housing market there. By the looks of things, said the Adelaideans seem to snap up all the houses on the coast, so we might struggle to find houses and properties out there. And again, we might be lucky, we might fall on something.
Jane?
Still looks gorgeous.
I thought it was lovely. I mean, it must be wonderful to wake up every morning and be able to stroll on the beach and look at those views. Would be absolutely tremendous.
And would you want to have a look
Wait,
at another one?
Oh, come on then.
All right, then, go on, Billy. Let's go to option 3, the city.
Whether it's strolling through the many parks or shopping at the market, there's no shortage of things to do. The cost of living in Adelaide is lower than anywhere else in Australia. The average house price is a fraction of that in Sydney, and you get a lot for your money. In the suburbs, you'll find beautiful villas with all the facilities you could possibly want for as little as £170,000. An income of £20,000 a year will give you a fabulous standard of living, and Dave Bitmead from Advent Security has the job for you.
Robert, I know your expertise is in data, cabling and such. However, I'm sure we could probably get you into covert work and do some investigations.
Living here, you'd be a stone's throw away from Port Adelaide and the Port River, which is home to the only dolphins in the world that live within a city. The best way to see these creatures is by boat. It really doesn't get much better than this.
We'd love to see you over here. It's a beautiful place, Adelaide. I'm sure your family would love it. We'll throw a roux on the barbie for you. It'd be great to see you.
Lots of smiles in that one, Billy. What were you smiling about?
I really like the idea of going on a boat trip to see all the dolphins.
Oh, did you like that as an idea, do you?
Yeah.
I bet.
I liked all the pictures and it was a really good choice.
How are you feeling, Jane, about that?
I thought it was really, really lovely. Really liked it.
So which lifestyle best suits the Ashtons? A life in the country where the earnings are less but the living is cheap? By the coast, where it's more expensive but very desirable? Or the city lifestyle, where you can live on £20,000 a year?
What do you think? What's your final decision as you are going in just a couple of days' time?
I think it has to be number 3.
Yeah, number 3.
OK, we'll go for number 3 then.
She held her breath there for a second. I better give you the tickets, Billy, quickly before Daddy changes his mind. There you go. Have the most fabulous time. And say hello to those dolphins for me, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah, lucky you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, Robert, Jane and Billy have chosen the city for their trial week. But will it be good enough to persuade them to make a permanent move? After a whole day flying, the Ashtons make it to Adelaide, jet-lagged, and move into their rented accommodation.
Very nice, isn't it?
Very nice.
Their house is in one of the many Adelaide suburbs. It has 3 bedrooms and an impressive open-plan kitchen living area popular in most Australian homes.
Wow.
Oh, I see. Oh, nice and comfy.
Ollie,
Yeah.
don't make that your bed.
Oh, I think you've lost that. Oh, it's lovely and spacious.
It's very different from the properties they're used to in the UK.
Be nice if all the houses here had walk-in wardrobes, wouldn't it?
And the owners have even left a present for Billy.
Yay! Little dolphin. The thing that I'm looking forward to most about Australia is the dolphins, and I've heard that there's lots of zoos and wildlife things here. My dream would be to swim with dolphins.
Did you find it?
I found!
Wow!
You know what that means? That means we've got to go and see some dolphins, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Come and see my mum and dad, it's saying.
But will her dream replace what she'd be leaving behind?
If we do emigrate, I'm going to be leaving behind all my friends and my family and just the lifestyle, really. But it's just leaving all my friends behind is a really big scare. It'll just be a big shock.
They've only just arrived in the country and already there are doubts creeping in. Will Australia live up to their dreams? In Sheffield, Robert and Jane live in a terrace 2-up, 2-down property with a converted attic for Billy. They'd have about £200,000 to spend in Australia, which translates as $480,000. On their Australian property wish list is internal space, a large garden and a pool for Billy, but they don't know what to expect.
Wow, look at these houses.
It's very Mediterranean, isn't it?
It is very Mediterranean, yeah. I would think these are definitely out of our price range, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Little do they know that this neighbourhood is bang on their budget.
Hello.
Hello.
The first property has got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and a large open-plan living space. It's on the market for $490,000 or just over £200,000.
Very nice. Love, plenty of room in here to get a table and chairs in, isn't there? And at the minute, the house that we're in is just a dining kitchen. So it's all in one room, and it's probably only as big as this anyway.
They're clearly impressed with the room available in Australian houses.
This would be lovely because there's so much space. To be able to have a formal dining area if you were entertaining formally, of course, or just this is somewhere where you sit and have breakfast and all your meals generally. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
The bedrooms are considerably larger than you'd find in Sheffield too.
Look at them windows.
It's just so light, isn't it? This is your bedroom.
This could
if
be
you
your
want it to be.
bedroom. This is lovely.
But most of the family's time would be spent in the backyard.
Thank you very much.
That's lovely. Thank you. Oh, look at the trees as well. You could do just about anything out here, really.
Yeah.
You could bring the outside inside out, couldn't you?
The covering that the pergola has got does not allow the UV rays to come through. So being Australia, and we do get burnt very quickly
Yeah.
here, it's a perfect setup.
Space-wise, it's exactly what they're after.
So how much would a property like this be on the market for?
We're looking for between 480 and 500,000, and that is negotiable.
Between $480,000 and $500,000. Yes. Oh my goodness me! Oh, I can't
That's
believe
unbelievable.
that.
That's $1 million house if I've ever seen one.
Oh, that's unreal. A house like this back in the UK would be around £350,000–400,000. So, oh, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
They've been blown away by this property and the fact that they can afford it. But for Billy, a true Australian house must have a pool. So it's off to property number 2. It's It's on the market for $600,000 or £250,000, so it would stretch their budget. It's got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and a fabulous front garden.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Me. Look at this. This is a fabulous land.
This would definitely be enough for everything that we've got.
I think we should have to buy a bigger TV looking at that one there, though, don't you?
Yeah.
It's got more rooms than they know what to do with.
Oh, what a beautiful space.
It's an extra room with a lot
Yeah,
of
a
glass.
little reading, relaxing room or homework room. I mean,
The ceilings are a lovely height as well.
Yeah, they're not
You've
low.
noticed?
Yeah.
They're not really low, but they're not extremely high like we've
Yeah.
got in the terrace at home, which just go on forever.
Even the bathroom's impressive.
Oh, this is fabulous. Oh, this is like a palace. Oh, this could make a nice bedroom for a little girl. Oh, I love these windows.
They're neighbours, but they're not there.
They're not like bang joined on like they are
Not attached.
at home at the moment. Yeah.
The nice little guest room. It's a bit.
Oh, this is probably a bit bigger than the other one, Billy, as well.
There's no comparison to their house in Sheffield.
Oh, this is nice. Now, Billy, whilst washing the pots, is that not a better view than the one we've got at the moment, looking into somebody else's kitchen, watching them washing the pots?
The view that we've got at home is a square old garden. Lot.
It is, this is true now, that's fabulous.
But it's what's outside that wins them over.
What's out here then?
Look at that.
Crazy.
What do you think of that then? Oh, wow.
This is just unbelievable. I can't imagine how much something like this would cost at home. Back in the UK, I can't even put a figure on it.
So it's a thumbs up for property number 2, but can we do any better with one closer to the city? The third house is an older style property 10 minutes from the centre of Adelaide.
Hiya, Billy. How are you?
Estate agent Peter will show them around. As well as the beautiful gardens, it's got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and an office in the back garden. They're looking for offers over $590,000 or £246,000.
Wow.
Oh, look.
Entering a big Victorian house, isn't it?
Gosh, that's lovely.
Good first impressions, but will it be big enough for them?
This room is what we're now using as their master. Is that big enough for you?
Oh,
It's what
my
it-
word.
Like that.
Oh, this is a... Oh.
It's got some space.
It's got some space,
Heaps.
definitely. And I can't believe the size of it. It's nearly as big as our house.
Oh, is that right?
It's bigger than our complete downstairs, I think.
It's nice to have space. Definitely nice to have space.
Now it's Billy's turn.
Oh, wow. Another
Another bedroom.
Yeah, it could be a spare another guest room, couldn't it?
4th bedroom.
This is probably about as big as the attic.
It probably is about as big as your attic, Olivia.
It's a big house.
The living space is pretty impressive too. It's got areas for every occasion. And Jane loves the kitchen.
Wow.
In the house back home, we've just got a basic cooker, a fridge, a sink, and obviously units on the walls, but nothing like this.
They've been so impressed with the house, they haven't even noticed what's through the window.
Oh,
Look at that out there.
look at that! Oh my goodness me!
That's amazing.
A nice backyard.
How beautiful is that, Mel?
This is exactly the kind of picture that I had in my mind of what a garden would be with a pool in it. It's absolutely breathtaking. It really is. All the greenery and the bushes and then the pool. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, look at this barbecue area. The size of that table. You just imagine an outdoor space, dining space, but you don't imagine it's with this big.
This is about as good as it gets.
I think the problem we'd have is finding enough friends to invite round.
Oh, you'll soon get some friends out here.
Speak for yourself.
Wow. Owning
Should've
something
gone.
like this, especially in the UK, would be beyond your wildest dreams. It's just not something that you would, unless you won the lottery, ever imagined to be able to afford. And to think this is within your reach is just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
They're amazed by every house they've seen and the fact that they can realistically afford them. It's time to put it to the vote. So what's it going to be?
So, which properties do we prefer? Properties in Australia or back in the UK? Australia!
One of the reasons people choose to move to Australia is the cheap housing. But once you've found your dream home, how easy is it to actually buy it? We found out the hidden costs of getting onto the Aussie property ladder. So, once you've decided that you want to live down under, the search begins. Property auctions are more common in Australia than they are in the UK, and they take place at the property being sold. You must pay a 10% deposit on the day.
Once.
And sign an auction contract.
Second time.
Which means the sale is final and there's no going back.
Sold to you, congratulations. Give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
But if you're expecting a bargain, be wary. This family sold their house for 50% more than the guide price.
We've looked and tracked houses that have just been sold at a price, and had we, I suspect we probably would have not maximised the potential of today. I think today's a great example as to why the auction system works.
Good for them, but just remember, it's easy to get carried away in the bidding, so stick to your budget, as there are lots of other costs to pay for. Mark Sanderson of the Australian Real Estate Institute has these tips.
Well, my advice to a British family looking to buy is, before you come, look on the internet, really suss out the properties. They can rent for 6 months and really decide which suburb they do want to live in before they purchase. So it's always a good idea, though, to get a building inspection on a property so they're aware if there's any structural defaults or anything about the property that they should know.
A building survey costs around £170. A timber and pest inspection is about £70 to make sure your new home isn't infested with termites. And there's stamp duty. On a $500,000 house, it's £8,000. For an equivalent property in the UK, it's under £2,000, quite a difference. So, after working out your budget, where should you buy?
The most expensive place to buy is Sydney, and the most affordable place to buy is Adelaide. Generally, what you buy in Sydney will cost you 4 times as much as it will in Adelaide.
In Australia, there's something for everyone, so do your research, get your survey, and if you don't see your dream house, you could always build your own. It's day 3, and the Ashton family decide to check out how the Australian pubs compare with those back home.
Am I okay to fetch kids in today?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Come in. Yeah, sound, yeah.
Is it always this quiet on a Sunday? Yeah, it is. It's always quiet on Sunday. And kids are allowed until midnight, is that right? Till midnight, yeah. As long as they're supervised.
The beer's cheaper than in the UK, but is it to Robert's taste?
It's in a glass, it looks nice. I'm going to drink it. It's not like the bitter at home. So what do you want then?
I'll have a white one. I am really enjoying my afternoon, yes. 3 glasses of wine. I shall go home and fall asleep, probably. This is quite nice.
On to the next pub in search of something more familiar to Robert's palate.
How are we doing, my friend? All right. So what happened to all the Fosters and the Castlemaine Forex, mate?
It never existed,
You're
really.
here. Are you shipping it all out to the ponds?
We ship it all overseas, it's no good.
It's time to put it to the vote and decide who has the better pubs.
So, we've done half a dozen pubs now. What do you think?
Is it going to be Australian pubs or British pubs?
Pretty obvious, really.
Before heading home, Billy talks about what's on her mind.
I only found out that my mum and dad were divorced 6 months ago. I was very, very upset. I burst into tears. And my mum said it'll be alright, and then she said I don't think we'll get married again, and that got me even more upset.
The reason we had to tell Billy, really, was because we knew, did we make a decision to come to live in Australia, our relationship would have to be out in the open, and she may hear us talking about it. Because obviously, if anybody asks our marital situation, we're actually divorced. So we had to make Billy aware of it, in case she heard it from somewhere and got a little bit confused. So we had to explain it all to her. Even though she vaguely remembers us being apart, we never actually told her that we got divorced, so we had to tell her, and it wasn't so very long ago, was it, darling?
When they're not married, it don't feel like a real family.
Yeah, but you
It
didn't know.
looks like a real family, but when I found out, I was just really upset, and I'd really like them to get married again, because I want to know my mum and dad are really together.
I don't see that getting... Now we are back together and we're as happy, if not happier, than we've ever been. I don't see any reason why getting married would change that. And if it went wrong first time, who's to say it's not going to go wrong again second time? So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
This is a tough trip for the Ashtons, and it's important they're united if they are to move down under. Now, they like the Australian houses but prefer the pubs back home. How will the work scene compare? Next, it's a chance for them to try the Aussie working life for a day. Day 5, and it's time for Robert to get his hands dirty with his new boss, Dave.
Well, Bob, this is the office area where I need you to have a look at.
In the UK, Robert works as a cable installer. In Australia, he would most likely find himself working for one of the many security companies.
So, Dave, tell me, is security a big business in South Australia?
It's very large now, mate. There's not many places nowadays you can go without either it being alarmed or being watched by CCTV cameras or covert operations, that kind of thing. But alarms obviously will and always be pretty big.
Great, so there's much work for myself?
Plenty of work, mate.
If Robert is serious about working in security, he'll have to do a lot more than install cables. The mainstay of Dave's business is covert operations.
What exactly is covert work then?
Covert's actually is watching people without their knowing.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty exciting. It's not always on the bad man, the cheating husband or anything like that. It's, you ever done anything like that before, Bob?
Never.
No?
Never. I'd be interested very much so, because I bet it's very interesting.
Whilst Robert is working hard, Jane and Billy explore one of Australia's many wildlife parks.
What we'll do, this is Buttons. What we're going to do, I want you to stand nice and straight like a nice tall tree, and then Buttons will just climb onto you.
Being this close to wildlife is one of the reasons they're thinking of moving to Australia.
This beats anything we can do in the UK, really.
But despite the excitement, Jane is thinking about Robert.
Having a bit of a different day to Dad, I think, don't you? I think Dad will be very jealous when we get home and tell him when he's finished work.
Whilst Billy is getting up close and personal with the wildlife, Jane has the chance to reflect on the importance of a move.
Yeah, it's really important for me that Robert does well and finds the job he really likes doing, more than anything. We all know how horrible it is to get up every day and not want to have to go to work. But our visa determines that Robert must work full-time, so he's going to have to find something to do.
They both know that Robert's work experience will determine whether they could make the move or not. Working for a security company in Australia is about more than installing cables. Robert's about to discover if he's cut out for covert operations.
Just have a look down, you can hear the voices. All right?
Okay, yeah.
So let's just come down here.
He's never come across this type of work before and he's apprehensive. But if he's serious about moving to Australia, he'd have to get used to it.
See him down here?
Okay, yeah.
So start getting some pictures of that for us.
Absolutely.
Water is a precious Australian resource and it's strictly illegal for anyone to swim in an area supplying drinking water.
There we can see, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 adults there.
Okay. This is just something I've never dreamt of doing in my life before. This is unbelievable. I can live with this, huh?
This element of security work is nerve-wracking and unpredictable, and Robert is out of his depth. If the people you're watching see you, you could be in all sorts of trouble.
There's a guy there with multiple tattoos. What we're looking for is distinguishing figures. Anything that you could actually take a picture with and at a later date identify with if you had to do a police line-up. Well, there you go, mate. This is what covert's all about.
What a way to make a living.
Absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Let's go call the police.
And there's nothing nasty in here then.
It's time for Robert to weigh up his work options in Australia with what he's got back home.
Lazing about with the kangaroos while I'm out at work.
Oh, have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been very different.
Really?
Very different, yeah. Going on today's experience, with what I've gone through today, it's really exciting and it'll be really something different to look into. But if I'm truthful and honest, the work that I do back in the UK, I'm more comfortable with and I feel happy doing. And so, as a vote for the job, I go for the UK.
Another vote for the UK. Does this spell disaster for a future down under?
Sorry, dear.
Work was a big consideration for moving to Oz, but now it seems they stand a better chance of getting a good job in the UK. This discovery has really made them think again, and what seems straightforward on paper is now looking a whole lot more complicated. The Ashton family were amazed by the Australian properties they could afford.
To think this is within your reach is just unbelievable.
But the job put Robert right out of his comfort zone.
As a vote for the job, the UK.
Suddenly, a life on the other side of the world seems fraught with difficulties, and it's preying on Jane's mind.
I've always been a home bird. I've always needed to be at home and have my family around me. So to make a decision to even think about coming to Australia is huge for me.
How will they react when confronted with a reminder of home?
Does it make it a bit harder, do you think?
Leaving my mum behind thing, it's been the hardest thing to do. Oh, I can't even think about it.
Will the Ashton family decide to move to Australia or stay put in the UK? The Ashtons are nearly at the end of their week, and they have a moment to reflect on the ups and downs of their time in South Australia.
Yeah, I think one of my main concerns would be Robert's job, because it's him working. If we were to come out, it would be Robert's job that would determine whether or not we could stay.
Like going back over the week and the day I had out at work, I wouldn't say disappointed me because it was a great experience, but it's just the security aspect of it. You know, I prefer more networking and computer telephone work now.
Yeah.
For Jane, Australia feels a long way from home.
I've always been a home bird. I've always needed to be at home and have my family around me. If somebody had told me 3 years ago that I was even contemplating coming to live in Australia, I would have just laughed. There's no way I would have even considered it. So...
You wouldn't have got on a plane for that long, would you?
No, definitely not. No. So yeah, it's very strange how things have turned out that we're even considering it now.
And it's scary for Billy.
I'll probably be worried about friends, because at school I'm not that good at making friends, but out of school I am.
If we decide to move, Billy's always going to be our
main concern.
Yeah.
We're always going to wonder if we're doing the right thing, because we're taking her away from all the friends that she knows, all the family, and it's just going to be us three for a while. So it's really, really important that we weigh up all the options. But the end result, all being well, is going to be that she has a much, much better lifestyle.
I think if Billy turned to me and said she really didn't want to go, it'd be heartbreaking, and that'd put a different perspective on the matter, and I'd probably have to stay in the UK.
Both Robert and Jane are clear about why they're considering this move and seem persuaded that their dreams could come true if daughter Billy is happy. But they need time to put their thoughts into perspective. It all rests on Billy. In an attempt to win her over, they take her on an adventure to swim with her favourite animals, dolphins.
Billy's always wanted to do this, so it's fantastic for her. It's like a dream come true.
I'm very, very, very excited about the dolphins.
She lives and dreams dolphins, and ever since she first sort of started liking dolphins and sponsored a dolphin, she's always wanted to come and swim with them in the sea.
Suddenly, a pod of dolphins is spotted near the boat and everyone gets in the water. But Billy isn't a strong swimmer, and the reality of being in open water isn't what she'd expected. It's all too much for her. Without even glimpsing a dolphin, Billy's dreams are in tatters. All of a sudden, the idea of life in Australia isn't so attractive to Billy.
You got far out and now breathe through my nose. And it got stuck to my face, and I didn't like it. And so I took my mouth thing out, and then I swallowed the whole lot of seawater.
Oh no!
You're going to have go.
Will she find the courage to try again?
Oh, don't. You've been so looking forward to this. Haven't you? Oh, Billy, you might not get this opportunity ever again.
I can't, no.
You can.
I can't.
Oh, what have I always told you? Do anything if you try.
What did I just do? I just tried.
Where'd you do? You sit down there.
Despite her panic in the water, it hasn't put Robert off. He's living Billy's dream and swimming with the dolphins. Robert is blissfully unaware that a black cloud now hangs over his daughter's view of Australia. Their week here has really brought home to them what a huge step moving to Oz could be. To help them consider how much their choice would mean to their friends and family, we've recorded a collection of messages for them to watch. Back at base, the Ashtons settle down to hear what their best friends have to say about their move.
Hi Bob, Jane and Billy. We hope you're enjoying your time out there in Australia.
She always tries to see the good side of everything, of everybody, and she's always there with a kind word to cheer you up.
And Bob's a really outgoing person. Once he gets to Australia, he'll have no trouble making friends. Everybody likes Bob, he's a good laugh.
She's a lovely little girl, Billy. You know, very grown up for her age.
It's the most important thing in life is family life. I know they'll have each other out there, and they are very close, all three of them.
I think that they'll miss us more than they realise.
Oh, I think I'll be ever so upset. I will really, really miss them. You know, and it'll be heartbreaking, really. Deep down, I don't want them to go, you know, but they want to give it a try, and good luck to them.
I feel quite sad because we've done quite a lot of things together since having the children. You know, we've been quite close, and we just do so many good fun things together, so we will really miss it. I will really miss Jane. The day that they get on the plane will be quite horrendous. I'm not really looking forward to that day at all.
Billy, I'm looking forward to coming and seeing your dolphin and seeing your house, and I hope they've got a swimming pool.
You've always been my best friend, and you always will be. I'm just really going to miss you. I don't want you to go.
And we're going to miss you terrible, but I just want you to do whatever you feel is right.
I know it's the other side of the world, but £500 and a quick flight, and your family will be with you.
Hope you're having a lovely time, and I hope you like what you're seeing. And if you feel that you didn't want to stay there, you can always come home, because we all love you and we're all going to miss you. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Yeah.
What do you think of that then?
I'm excited to see Jodie and Rebecca and everybody else.
Yeah.
Leaving my mum behind is going to be the hardest thing. It's been the hardest thing to do. Oh, I can't even think about it.
Does it make it a bit harder, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd make it much more difficult, because obviously when we speak to my mum about everything, she always just says, yeah, you know, you need to go, yeah, well, I'm going to miss you, but to see her there, how she really feels, it's like, oh.
Grandma's going to miss us, there's no two ways about it. It's not as if, like, when we are at home, we see, apart from you seeing your mum every day, but I don't see my family all the time.
No, you don't. No.
I don't. I love my family to bits, there's no two ways about it, but we're not in each other's pockets, so I don't see them every day of my life.
Yeah, whereas I do see my mum every day.
But the thing I'm looking at in perspective as us as a family is I wouldn't stop in the UK just for the sake of seeing my family, because I want to make a better life for us three.
Yeah, I know.
And they're only going to miss us because they will know we're so many thousand miles away.
Have you finished?
Settled? I've finished, yeah.
Thank you.
It's been an emotional roller coaster of a week, but our family have to make a decision. Is moving to Australia what they all really want? It's time to put their future to a final vote. Robert is looking for a better standard of living for his family, but he must also be able to support them all. He voted in favour of the work in the UK.
But if I'm truthful and honest, I'm more comfortable with the work that I do back in the UK.
As far as the Aussie boozers go, he's happier in Sheffield.
Yeah, they call this bitter, but it's not like the bitter at home.
No. Is the Australian lifestyle really for him? How will he vote?
Australia!
For Jane, even considering such a big move is out of character.
I've always been a home bird. I've always needed to be at home and have my family around me. If somebody had told me 3 years ago that I was even contemplating coming to live in Australia, I would have just laughed.
She loved the Australian houses.
And to think this is within your reach is just unbelievable.
But being so far from home is almost too much for her to handle.
Leaving my mum behind is going to be the hardest thing. It's been the hardest thing to do. Oh, I can't even think about it.
Will she want to give up everything in the UK for a life in the sun? How will she vote?
Australia!
As for Billy, Australia has been an emotional roller coaster. She's learnt things about her family she didn't previously know.
When they're not married, it don't feel like a real family. I'd really like them to get married again.
And for her, Australia had only meant one thing: dolphins. When her dream trip ended in tears, was her dream to live in Oz lost at sea. Both Jane and Robert want her to be happy wherever they live.
If we decide to move, Billy's always going to be our main concern.
Yeah. So it's really, really important that we weigh up all the options.
I think if Billy turned to me and said she really didn't want to go, it'd be heartbreaking. I'd probably have to stay in the UK.
So it's down to Billy. Will she want the same as her parents?
The UK!
What a bombshell.
Looks like we've got a bit of convincing to do.
If Billy isn't on side, it looks like the Ashtons will have to reconsider their whole move.
Maybe if Billy changes her mind, Mum and Dad will get married again, yeah?
Oh. So maybe they'll go after all. It seems like an easy choice. Stay in the UK or move somewhere with fantastic weather, better homes and plenty of jobs. But as our Families Week has shown, leaving your friends and family on the other side of the world is one of the hardest decisions you'll ever make. Next time, meet another British family who are wanted down under.
Comedy tonight on BBC One. Nicholas Lyndhurst is the handyman making a bodge job of family life with his children and mother-in-law. After You've Gone is at 8:30. Next up this morning, Homes Under the Hammer.